All in Sports Network. We love sports.
Welcome back to the show, everybody. Happy Thursday. Thursdays have become kind of my favorite day on here because I get to do a nice dive into Missouri's upcoming opponent this week. That is a pretty daunting opponent. 8-0, number 3 in the country, Texas A&M Aggies. Coming off a bye week, just like Missouri. Also coming off before that, a dominant win over LSU in Baton Rouge that resulted in the firing of Brian Kelly. So they're hot, man, and they got some talent. They got a great head coach. They've got things going in the right direction. This is going to be tough for Missouri. It really is going to be tough. You've got pretty much everything going against you if you're the Tigers, except for the fact that you're playing on your home field. And sometimes that is enough. So you never know if Missouri can pull something off here. I wouldn't really be too surprised if it was closer than some people are making it seem like it will be. Let's get started, though. Missouri hosting number 22 Missouri hosting number 3, Texas A&M at 2:30 on ABC in Columbia, Missouri. Texas A&M right now stands as a 6.5-point favorite, so about a touchdown. And I think that's probably fair. I was thinking about this, though. I mean, when is the last time Missouri hosted a big-time game with a big-time opponent and got completely embarrassed at home? I was trying to think. Last year, it didn't happen. The year before that, LSU beat them, but it wasn't embarrassing, I would say. It was a close game for most of it. Tennessee, also a big-time game. They won that game in Columbia. The year before that, they hosted Georgia, and they weren't any good that year, but they still kept it close with Georgia. So what I'm saying is this team plays well at home, regardless of your matchup, regardless of anything. I think it's huge that Zollers gets his first start at home rather than in College Station on the road. I think that would be impossible. But he's in Missouri. I mean, unless I'm missing something, Missouri has historically done a nice job of just at least keeping it close in big games at Furrow Field. So I will say I think it will be close. I don't know if they'll win, but I think it'll be close. Let's get into this. Texas A&M leads the series all-time 10-7. The series started. The first meeting was on October 5th, 1957. 1957. Texas A&M beat the Tigers 28-0. I believe it was in Columbia. The last meeting was last year, October 5th, 2024, in College Station. I was there. Missouri was beat pretty badly, 41-10. The last time Missouri won against the Aggies, last time Missouri beat the Aggies was November 15th, 2014. Missouri won 34-27. The year before that, in 2013, Missouri beat Texas A&M again. This time it was that year, 2013, a year before the one I just talked about, was the SEC East title game. So a trip to the SEC championship on the line. Missouri welcomes the Aggies to town, welcomes Johnny Manziel to town, and they beat them. And Missouri goes to the SEC title game in 2013 after a big win over A&M. Let's get into some stats you should know. I've got a big thing of stats here. So all these stats are in terms of the SEC. So I'll start with those. Total offense, Missouri is 4th in the SEC, averaging 472.8 yards per game. Texas A&M right behind Missouri at number 5, averaging 459.3 yards per game. Passing offense, Missouri towards the bottom of the conference, ranked 10th in the SEC, averaging 237.3 pass yards per game. A&M at 5, averaging 259.1 passing yards per game. The rush offense, Missouri still number 1 in the SEC, averaging 235.5 yards on the ground per game. A&M behind them at number 3, averaging 200.1 yards per game rushing. Scoring offense, Missouri comes in at number 6, averaging 35.4 points per game. The Aggies are number 2 in the conference, averaging 37.8 points per game. Total defense, Missouri number 1. I think this Missouri defense is playoff caliber, in my opinion. I think they're playoff caliber. And the stats show it here. Number 1 in the SEC, giving up 245.8 yards per game. A&M, number 7 in the SEC, giving up 321.5 yards per game. Where am I? Total defense, already did that. Passing defense, Missouri, number 1 in the conference, giving up just 155.4 yards through the air per game. That's really good. Texas A&M, once again, number 7, giving up 203 yards per game passing. Rush defense, Missouri's number 4, giving up 90.4 rush yards per game. Texas A&M, again, is number 7 in the conference. So they're right there in the middle at number 7 for all these categories. They're giving up 118 rush yards per game. Scoring defense, Missouri, number 3 in the SEC, giving up just 16.8 points per game. On the flip side, Texas A&M, number 12 in the SEC, giving up 23.6 points per game. So there you go. That's in the context of the conference. Here's some other stats I found that are going to be really important to the outcome of this game. Texas A&M's third down defense ranks number 1. Not number 1 in the SEC. Well, technically number 1 in the SEC, but I'm talking about number 1 in the country, in the US of A. Texas A&M's third down defense is the best across the board. They give up a first down on third down only 21.8% of the time. Missouri's third down offense is number 18 in the country, and they pick it up 48% of the time. They pick up a first down on third down 48% of the time. So that is a matchup that I think will be pretty interesting. I'll talk about that in a little bit. Texas A&M, here's another sack. Texas A&M only allows 0.9 sacks per game, which is 10th in the country. Marcel Reed is incredible at evading sacks. That offensive line has some big boys up there, and they do a great job of keeping guys off of him. But Missouri's got some dudes up there too. Zion Young, Damon Wilson, Sterling Webb, Marquise Graciel, Chris McClellan, all these guys. Missouri averages 3.1 sacks per game. That's 8th best in the country. So this matchup is going to be big. Very interesting. All right, let's have a look here at Texas A&M, the fighting Texas Aggies, or Texas A&M Aggies, whatever they like to be called. Texas A&M is 8-0 this year. Like I said, coming off a win against LSU. Well, technically they're coming off a bye, but before that they beat LSU. They've got some good wins. They beat Notre Dame to start the year way back in September. They beat Notre Dame at Notre Dame by 41-10. They also took care of Auburn, Mississippi State, Florida, Arkansas, LSU. A lot of these games were closer than you think, though. They only beat Auburn by 6. So did Missouri. They only beat Arkansas by 3. Mississippi State was close-ish for a little bit. It was 31-9. Florida, 34-17. They just beat LSU. They beat the brakes off LSU, 49-25. So there you go. Texas A&M, though, 5-0 in the conference, 8-0 overall, number 3 in the college football playoff poll that dropped on Tuesday evening. Head coach Mike Elko. This guy has done an incredible job coming in to College Station and turning a program around that Jimbo Fisher left kind of just really boring. He just wasn't any good. They never did much. They always had a big win every year, but just a boring team. Mike Elko has turned it around there. In his time at Texas A&M, he's 16-5. So there you go. He was the Texas A&M defensive coordinator from 2018 to 2021. And then he was hired by the Duke Blue Devils, went to North Carolina to coach Duke for 2 years, 2022, 2023. Did a great job there, won some big games, and then immediately, pretty quickly, just 3 years after he leaves, or 2 years really, Texas A&M hires him 2024 after they fire Jimbo Fisher. They bring in Mike Elko. I remember this really well when this happened. That hiring process by A&M was crazy because they went and initially they agreed to a deal with Mark Stoops, the head coach of Kentucky. And A&M fans, I had some A&M fans in my life that were like, we're getting Dabo. We're getting Dabo. We're getting Saban. We're getting, I don't know, we're getting Dan Lanning for sure. And I'm like, come on, you're not getting any of those guys. And then they hired Mark Stoops from Kentucky, and I had to chuckle. I just had to, because I think Mark Stoops is a good coach, but he's going to get fired from Kentucky pretty soon. He made Kentucky a respectable program. Kentucky's a basketball school. They don't care about football. But he had some fun Kentucky teams. But he never did anything crazy, and he had no Texas A&M ties. I thought it was hilarious that my friends were like, Dabo's coming. Dabo's going to come to Texas A&M. And then they hire Stoops, and I'm like, okay, good try. Pretty close to Dabo is Mark Stoops. It's a good try. And then Texas A&M fans are pissed. They get on Twitter. They are just pissed with this hiring. They're tweeting about it. They're apparently the boosters might be pissed too. Like, everybody's like, what are we doing? We can't hire this guy. So the rumors were that this had advanced far enough that Mark Stoops was going to be the next coach of the Texas A&M Aggies. And then all of a sudden, I've never seen this before, A&M says, never mind, we're going to hire someone else. Sorry. And I think it was phrased like Mark Stoops elects to stay at Kentucky. But of course he didn't do that. Of course he would have taken the A&M job if they had wanted him still. So they changed their mind and end up hiring Mike Elko, who had Texas A&M ties. I think it was a great hire. Elko did a really good job at Duke. He's been recruiting really well for A&M. He's 32-14 record overall. So if you do the quick math here, if you subtract this, he was 16-9 at Duke. That's good, man. Duke is another basketball school. And 16-9 is good for Duke. So Mike Elko's done an amazing job. And in large part this year, he's 8-0 because he's got himself a quarterback. When's the last time A&M had a quarterback that we were excited about? Kellen Mond, he was a pretty exciting player here and there. Haynes King is exciting for Georgia Tech, not really for A&M. Connor Wigman at Houston, playing pretty well at Houston. Wasn't great at A&M, although did he give it to Missouri last year. Now he's got a quarterback that might win the Heisman. Marcel Reed, a Nashville, Tennessee native, former 4-star recruit. Marcel Reed, his first year as the full-time starter, he's 8-0. Last year he came in and started in spots for an injured Connor Wigman. Eventually, I think he ended up taking the job. Wigman transfers to Houston. And now it's Marcel Reed's job. And good grief, this guy is awesome. He's really a lot of fun. I think he's like fourth. He has the fourth highest betting odds right now to win the Heisman Football Award. He's got 1,972 passing yards, 17 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. Also has 349 rush yards and 6 more touchdowns. So there you go. He can run. He's a true dual threat quarterback. Last year, he finished the season. He ended up playing in most of Texas A&M's games last year. I think he played in 11 of them, maybe. I don't know, actually, how many. I can't tell. But his stats last year, 1,864 yards, 15 touchdowns, 6 interceptions, so pretty similar there. Had 543 rush yards with 7 rushing touchdowns. He's on track to just shatter that. He already shattered the passing yards. I mean, he has just been outstanding. He's coming off his best rushing performance of the year last game against LSU. This is his best rush game of his career, actually. He ran for 108 yards and 2 touchdowns, also threw for 200 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions against the Tigers, the LSU Tigers, that is. So, man, Marcel Reed, this is the best quarterback outside of – I think that Heisman's going to be Marcel Reed, Ty Simpson, or Fernando Mendoza. That's my guess. And Missouri's already seen one of those guys, Ty Simpson, and he played well against Missouri. But this guy's a more dual threat guy than Ty Simpson is. That adds a whole nother challenge. Missouri did a good job with Pavia in the dual threat, who was a dual threat quarterback. They did a good job with Jalen Daniels, who's a great dual threat quarterback. They did a good job with a lot of these guys. What's his name? Jackson Arnold. They did a good job with him. He can run. So they've shown that they've improved from last year in the category of stopping a dual threat quarterback. But Marcel Reed, probably the best dual threat quarterback they've seen this year or last year. I think he's incredible, and it's going to be tough to stop, largely in part because, first of all, he can avoid sacks. He's great at avoiding sacks. He's got one of the top offensive lines in the country. You look at any statistic, sacks allowed, rush yards per play, all that stuff, rush yards per game. Texas A&M is a great offense because of this offensive line. That's part of why Marcel Reed has been great. Another reason, this guy might have the best receiving duo in the entire country. First of all, he's got Mario Craver. Mario Craver, for those who don't know, was a Mississippi State Bulldog last year with our friend Kevin Coleman Jr. Those two played together last year. 5'9", Mario Craver, 5'9", 165 pounds. This guy is tiny. He's got 700. Hey, if you're 5'9", fine. If you're 5'9", you're not tiny. I didn't mean that. That's fine to be that. To be short is fine, but you don't see guys that short usually ripping it up in the AD like this. He's second in the SEC in receiving yards, 716 yards. That's good enough for 13th in the country. Also has 4 touchdowns. This guy's been great, man. Last year for Mississippi State had 368 yards and 3 touchdowns. So he's already, blown by those numbers. KC Concepcion, another big-time transfer wide receiver for the Texas A&M Aggies. He's got 545 yards, 7 receiving touchdowns, good enough for 12th in the country. 12th in the country. He's 5'11", 190 pounds from Charlotte, North Carolina. This guy transferred in from North Carolina State, was 2 years ago at North Carolina State, had 10 touchdowns. Last year, 6 touchdowns. He's on his way to breaking both of those. Both these guys, how the hell do you cover them? They're tough. They're really tough. Terry Bussey, another guy from Timpson, Texas, another guy who can make things happen. He's 5'10". This is a small wide receiver room for Texas A&M, isn't it? They've got a tight end, Theo Malin Ostrom from Stockholm, Sweden. He's 6'6", 257. There's some size for you. But largely a pretty small team. This is a fast wide receiver room that can make you hurt. They've also got a pretty good running back duo in Reuben Owens Jr., who comes from El Campo, Texas. He's been at A&M for 3 years now. This is his 3rd year. He's got 440 rush yards and 3 touchdowns. And then also you got Le'Veon Moss, who was the big guy last year for Texas A&M. Last year he had 765 yards and 10 rushing touchdowns. This year, 389 rush yards, 6 touchdowns. So these two guys together is a problem. All right, let's talk about the defense. Let's go to the defensive side of things here for the A&M, this A&M team. Cassius Howell might just be the best defensive lineman in the SEC. Sorry, I can't get this thing centered. Hold on. Come on over here. Here we go. Let's get close. Cassius Howell might be the best defensive lineman in the entire SEC. Can you guess how many sacks this guy has? He's got a lot of sacks. A lot of sacks. He's got 9.5 sacks so far this year. Also has 3 passes defended. Cassius Howell, there was a game. Let me find this game. There was a game, I guess it was probably against Utah State early in the year, early September. He had 3 sacks in that game. All 3 sacks were consecutive. So first down sack, second down sack, third down sack. All Cassius Howell. He is a beast. This guy's actually from Kansas City, Missouri, so he's got a little homecoming coming back to Missouri this weekend. Kansas City, Missouri was a 3-star defensive lineman out of Rockhurst High School. Committed to Bowling Green. 2 years ago at Bowling Green, had 9.5 sacks. I think last year he had like 4 sacks. Goes in the portal, chooses A&M. Drinkwitz talked about this in his press conference, how he regrets misjudging this thing so badly. You miss him one time. I mean, he was not a highly rated recruit by any recruiting website or anything. But he was in your backyard, and you couldn't get him then. And then he transfers. You don't get him there either. This would have been a great guy to have. He's an incredible player. Cassius Howell, you're going to hear this name called on Saturday, I imagine. He's 6'2", 248 pounds. Quick off the edge, everything like that. They got some other dudes, though, on this defensive side of the ball. Linebacker Torian York leads the team in tackles, 45 tackles. He's got a sack. Torian York, cool name. Pretty cool name, I would say. I like to know where these guys are from. He's 5'11", 227 pounds from Temple, Texas. Temple, Texas. There you go. Will Lee III, a cornerback. He leads the team with 5 passes defended. Another Missouri guy, St. Louis, Missouri, Will Lee III. I imagine Missouri could probably use Will Lee III right now. I wonder what his recruiting situation was like. Pardon me while I look this up. Okay. Here we go. Kirkwood, played at Kirkwood in St. Louis. Oh, okay. This is interesting. He went to junior college, and then he went to Kansas State, and then he transferred to Texas A&M. This is his second year at Texas A&M. Will Lee III. 5 pass breakups for this guy so far this year. Last one I have to mention here, Damian Sanford. Another cool name. Damian Sanford, a linebacker out of Katy, Texas, 6'2", 222 pounds. He's got 33 tackles, 2.5 sacks, 2 passes defended, 1 interception. So he's doing a little bit of everything. Also has a forced fumble, by the way. So he's literally doing a little bit of everything. They got some dudes on this Texas A&M defense in the front 7. There's 3 guys I mentioned. They've also got some secondary stuff. But as you can see here, their defense, if you can still see it, God dang it. Let me try to. Come on. There we go. You can still see the numbers here. The numbers aren't like they're the best in the SEC, so there are opportunities maybe for Missouri to get points, get yardage. We'll see. All right, let's flip the board. Key matchups for Missouri if they want to win this game. Let's have a look. What do we have? What do we have here? Let's put the camera over here for now. Okay, key matchups for Missouri. The first one I have, Missouri offense versus Texas A&M defense on first down. So we talked about how Texas A&M's defense is the best in the country when it comes to third down defense. But that means Missouri has to have success on the early downs. On first and second down, Missouri has to be successful. That's an area for me where the offense has really struggled the last 2 or 3 weeks, is their inefficiency on first down, putting them in a hole on second down, which then puts them in a hole on third down. You cannot do that against this Texas A&M defense because you're not going to be able to pick up 3rd and 8s, 3rd and 9s. You're probably going to have a much better chance picking up 3rd and 2s, 3rd and 3s. So early down success, get something on first down. Don't just hand it off every time. Don't do the same thing every time. Let's mix it up. Let's mix it up here. Let's not do the same play action every time. Let's not do the same run play every time. Let's throw something else out there on first down and get some yards. Get 4 or 5 yards on first down. You're in really good shape. That's going to set you up really well. Missouri's offensive line versus Texas A&M's defensive line. Texas A&M not only has a great offensive line, but on the other side, they got a great defensive line. They're number 1 in the country in sacks per game. They average 4 sacks a game, which is 0.9 more than Missouri does. They have dudes everywhere. We just talked about 2 of them. And when they're going up against a freshman quarterback, that's like a tiger seeing a big piece of zebra or something. I don't know. No, that's a lions and zebras. That's like a tiger seeing what's a jungle? Like a bird, like a wounded bird in the jungle, and they just want to go for him. You see this freshman, true freshman, first start ever, Zollers, man. I think they're going to do everything they can to make him really uncomfortable. I think they're going to probably send blitzes. They're going to do a lot of different stuff, show him a lot of different looks, show blitz, don't show blitz, and then blitz. I think they're going to be doing all sorts of stuff. Missouri's offensive line has got to help this kid out. Speaking of Matt Zollers, the true freshman out of Pennsylvania. Matt Zollers, this is our 3rd matchup. Matt Zollers versus everything. This guy's got a lot of stuff stacked against him here in his first start. He's going against the number 3 team in the country. This is a literal must-win game for Missouri. If you still are holding on to the belief that Missouri can be a playoff team, you have to win this game. This is a must-win game at home here. The only thing going in his favor, it's a home game. If this game was in College Station, good grief, I would hate to be in that position. He's going to need some help. You know, his receivers got to help him. Maybe he can have a true freshman connection with Donovan Olubide. Let's get him involved too. But the run game's got to go. The receivers got to be good. Offensive line's got to be good. But also, man, this guy's going to have to play well. Matt Zollers, he played really well against Vanderbilt. I believe in him. This is probably earlier than Drinkwitz expected to have to play him, but Drinkwitz has always said from the start, Matt Zollers is the future of this team. The future's come a little bit early. That's fine. But the time is now, man. The time is now. I want to see what he can do. He's going to have to be good if Missouri wants a chance to match what Texas A&M does offensively. He's going to have to do a really good job. Here's a question I have. Can Ahmad Hardy make some noise this week? That would be great. Had a good game last week against Vanderbilt, but I want him to make some noise, man. I want him to have one of those big-ass runs, just a bad run-through-your-face run. I want to see that. That'll set the tone. If Missouri can do these 3 things, win on first down, keep the defensive line for Texas A&M at bay, and have a good showing from Zollers, get Zollers some help. I think Missouri can win. I probably won't predict them to win. You'll see in a second. I've got my prediction blank here. I'm going to do it in a second. I don't know if they'll win, but I don't think it's totally out of the question that Missouri comes out and is ready to go. Just because of what I said at the beginning of the show, they are a different team at home than on the road. It doesn't matter how bad the team is. It doesn't matter how good the other team is. Missouri plays well at home, and that has been true since Drinkwitz arrived, pretty much. All right, before I get to my prediction, I'll give you some picks, SEC picks. It's a good week in the SEC. Actually, kind of a light slate. One of your games is Ole Miss, the Citadel, so that's kind of lame. You got a couple buys, but I do have some picks for you. I went 2-2 last week. I'm 8-4 overall since I started doing this. Let's start here. Florida goes to Kentucky. The spread is -3.5. I'm hammering that. I'm taking Florida to cover the -3.5 points. Next thing I have is Auburn at Vanderbilt. Auburn just fired its coach. Auburn doesn't really know what it's doing at quarterback. Auburn does have a decent defense, but I think Vanderbilt wins by at least a touchdown. I'm going to take Vanderbilt to cover the 6.5-point spread. LSU at number 4, Alabama. This is a rivalry game. I know LSU has no coach. They don't really have much of an offense. I don't know how to justify this other than this is a rivalry game. I think Alabama wins 100%, but I see a world where it's within the 9.5-point spread. I'm going to take LSU to cover the 9.5 points. I think that's a lot for a team. LSU is still talented. It's coaching problem. They don't have a great quarterback. It looks like Nussmeier hasn't been very good, but I think they can cover the spread. This one, the first one I have. I mean, I don't love a lot of the games on the board, so I went with a different one. I'm going to take the under in the Vanderbilt-Auburn game, under 45.5 points scored. Auburn's defense is good enough to stifle Vanderbilt's offense, I think, and Auburn's offense sucks, so I don't think there's going to be many points. I'm taking the under on 45.5 points. If I had to do an upset money line pick, I would pick Mississippi State to upset the Georgia Bulldogs at home. They've come close. They're still looking for a signature win. Georgia has been flirting with death or losing for the last 3 weeks now. I don't think it'll happen, but if you want to get crazy, I could see a world where Mississippi State welcomes the Bulldogs. It's the Battle of Bulldogs. That's another fun thing. I could see a world where Georgia goes into Starkville and loses. I could see it. I'm not saying it'll happen, but plus 270, decent odds there. All right, the moment you've all been waiting for, my prediction. Here we go. Missouri, give me 23. Texas A&M, what do you think? 30. I think A&M wins this game, but it's closer than you might think. They don't actually cover the spread, but I think there's a world where they do. Give me Missouri 23, Texas A&M 30. Actually, no. Scratch that. That's too many points. These are two good defenses. Give me Missouri. I'm going on the fly here. I don't have any equation or math thing to come up with this stuff, so I'm just kind of doing it. Give me Missouri 20. Texas A&M 27. It's a little bit less points. I think this is going to be a defensive game. There you go. 27-20. Texas A&M wins. That's my prediction. All right, tomorrow we got an episode. I don't know what it's going to be. I'll probably try to get some sort of guest on to do a temperature check or something. I appreciate you guys joining me today for this preview. It's a big one. It's a big one. If you're in Missouri, go to the game, show up, get loud and everything. We'll see what happens here, though. That's all I have for today. Happy Thursday, everybody. MIZ, right? All right, see you later.
All in Sports Network. We love sports.